Okay, Saturday about noon, and here's your update on this winter storm system that, as you can see from this infrared satellite loop, is beautifully structured. This is usually what we call in the weather business, this is the monster storm that just really has developed nicely and eventually is going to lose some of its intensity. And I'm going to show you why. First of all, what you're looking at is this is the water vapor imagery from the GOES East satellite loop. And I want you to focus on what's happening here over Iowa and Missouri. This orange area is dry air that is getting wrapped into the storm system right now. And of course, the blue, light blue, and darker blue areas are high moisture content clouds. So this storm system is already what we call occluding. It's in the process of occluding or starting to weaken, and that's going to happen here over the next 12 hours because some dry air is going to get drawn into this storm system, and that is going to cut down at least some on the potential snow totals that we would have here in southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. Now, if we didn't get this dry air wrapped into the storm system, we'd be talking about snowfall totals in excess of a foot of snow over the region. But because of this dry air, it is going to, for the most part, at least in some cases, cut off some of the moisture that gets entrained into these snow bands. Okay, so now this is the infrared satellite loop, and of course we look at the infrared satellite loop because of the cloud tops. We look at the temperature of the cloud tops, and these yellows and brighter yellows are colder cloud tops, and you can already see that the cloud tops over northwestern Iowa and southwestern Minnesota are starting to warm. This tells me that the storm system, at least for now, is starting to weaken a little bit. Now, what we don't know, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens to these clouds here over south central Iowa. As these clouds get wrapped into this storm system and tap into at least a little bit of moisture, will we get an increase in intensity with some of these snow bands? That certainly could happen, and that is why we are expecting still at least several inches of snow over the region, over southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. And there's no doubt that there's going to be an initial band of snow that moves up into south central Minnesota, east central Minnesota, western Wisconsin as we go through the afternoon hours. You can clearly see that here on the upper Midwest radar summary. These are heavy band. This is a heavy band of snow, about 100-mile wide heavy band of snow now, moving into southern Minnesota along the I-90 corridor. It's snowing at about a half an inch to an inch an hour now in the Rochester and Albert Lea areas of Minnesota. And you can see that this snow band is going to move straight north and northwest into the Twin Cities metro and into the Eau Claire, Wisconsin area here within the next 2 to 4 hours. And we are going to get a heavy burst of snow, a moderate to heavy burst of snow along the I-94 corridor and then the I-35W corridor, especially from the Twin Cities on south as we go through the afternoon hours. Now, what we're going to be watching for is some redevelopment of the snow in northeastern Iowa as we go into the evening hours. That is the big question mark. Is there going to be redevelopment, which I do expect at least some, but I am also expecting some dry slots getting entrained into the storm system. So we will have periods of snow over the region between now and tomorrow morning. And again, that dry air is going to cut down on the snow totals. Radar summary out of the Twin Cities International clearly shows this heavy band of snow now from Albert Lea stretching east and northeast to now just south of Eau Claire. And this snow is it has been pinwheeling north and west towards the Twin Cities all morning. In fact, let's go to Rochester or La Crosse radar, and you can see that this is a moderate to heavy snow now, and there is some ice actually mixed into it over northeastern Iowa and southwestern Wisconsin. But this band of snow will continue to move north and west, and it will shrink a little bit in size, but still, this is what's going to give us at least an inch or two of snow over the region during the late afternoon and early evening hours. Then we'll get into a dry slot before more snow redevelops as we go through the overnight hours. Temperatures at the lower levels of our atmosphere, this is at 850 millibars, and this is the NAM computer model guidance. Temperatures right now are marginal for snow, but watch what happens this afternoon and evening as we go through time. Look at how the temperatures cool in the lower layers of our atmosphere so that we are below the freezing mark, and this is going to support snow as we go through the late afternoon and evening hours. So any mix that does occur with the onslaught of this system, of this precipitation, will quickly change over to snow as our atmosphere column cools over the next 12 to 24 hours. And of course, it's more than cold enough for snow as we go through the day Sunday. So I am still expecting some light snow and flurries Sunday, especially during the morning hours, which could add just a little bit to our snow accumulation. All right, this is the HRRR computer model guidance, and this is a good short-term model guidance that looks about 18 hours into the future. And you can clearly see, this is late this afternoon, this is about 3 o'clock this afternoon, you can see the snow encroaching on the Twin Cities metro and Eau Claire metro areas and much of southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. And then that area of snow pinwheels northwest, loses some intensity as it goes north of the Twin Cities, hence the reason why we're expecting a tight gradient to the snow accumulations right across the Twin Cities metro area, and then redevelopment of snow over southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin as we go through the nighttime hours. This is at about midnight now, and you can see periods of snow over southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin, with the heaviest of the snows likely occurring over southeastern, south central Minnesota, the I-90 corridor, and then continuing east to near or just south of Eau Claire as we get into tomorrow morning. Still, even by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, still periods of moderate snow over southeastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin, with a very tight snow gradient right from the I-94 corridor on north, and I think that's going to occur right across the Twin Cities metro. Anyway, a lot to look forward to here this evening and tonight. Everybody should at least get some work. And along the I-94 corridor from the Twin Cities metro on east into Wisconsin, I am thinking a tight snow gradient with 2 inches or so on the northern side of the metro to as much as 6 inches on the southern side of the Twin Cities metro. And in western Wisconsin, I'm also expecting a 2 to 6 inch snow gradient with the heavier totals south of the I-90 corridor. All right, we'll try to keep you updated throughout the afternoon and evening. Have a great night and day. Bye-bye.